comment from you ahead of your first start in the event?
Yeah, obviously it's really nice to be in the Bahamas. Was able to have a great practice round with Dr. Munjal from Hero today, and it's the last event of the year, and it's weird to think about that because we've played so many times. It's a good feeling, but I'm here to win, and we're here to play golf, and you can look at it as a vacation, but at the end of the day, I still want to come out here and play really well, and obviously over the past month and a half, it's been some pretty good golf, and hopefully we can just lead that on to finish off this year and head into 2022.
Collin, how do you approach this week knowing that you could become world number one with victory?
Yeah, it's similar to how the race to Dubai went, right? Like I could have thought about scenarios, and obviously there's one scenario here. I have to win, but I've got to focus on the tournament. Like I've said this, I said it all 2 weeks ago in Dubai. I've got to be ready on Thursday, right? I've got to be ready tomorrow once I tee it up, and that's the focus. No matter how much fun I'm having out here, how much relaxing I'm doing, by the time I tee it up tomorrow, I've got to be ready to play actual golf and play tournament golf.
And how much more confident are you now that you became the first American to win the race to Dubai, which was your latest benchmark milestone?
Yeah, it's a huge boost. I thought about it after the week that going into the week, it started off as, yes, I want to be the first American to win the race to Dubai. To create history like that, how special would that be? And once I showed up to the tournament, you start talking to media and you start realizing that you're at an actual tournament. I just wanted to win. That's all I cared about, and that was my focus. And that's my focus going to be this week. Is that we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm staying with Victor Hovland. We're having a good time, but when I'm out on the golf course, I'm here to win, and I have to keep that in mind, or else this week's going to go by, and I'm going to realize maybe it wasn't a great way to end 20 or 21.
Tiger spoke yesterday about how he feels like he's pledged his future to the PGA Tour, and he feels like that's where his legacy is. With all the continued swirling rumors going around, the news that a lot of guys are going to play the Saudi event in a couple of months, where do you kind of stand on that whole issue?
Look, I'm 24 and I'm keeping all eyes and ears open to everything. But the PGA Tour has been the focal point of my entire career, right? You grow up watching the PGA Tour, you grow up watching guys like Tiger, guys like Rory just dominate the game, and that's what you want to do. You come out here and win. Hopefully everything is out there and you start listening what's best, what's better. But look, I think at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is grow the game. So what's going to be the best for us professional golfers to grow the game? How do we create this outlet that is not just for a U.S. market, but is global, right? I was asking Dr. Munjal today about how big golf is in India, and, it really isn't that big. And how do you grow it in different parts of the world? So that's what's been cool is that, we're able to travel, we're able to come to places like these, even though it's gorgeous. How do you just make that impact? And I think you look at a guy like Tiger who has done his entire career pretty much on the PGA Tour, and he's made that impact, right? And at 24, it's thinking, how do I make that impact in 5 years, in 10 years, but even, in a month or in a year? How do you make that impact so young? And so look, when it comes to Saudi, when it comes to the PGA Tour, I think the underlying message that everyone needs to realize is we're here to grow the game.
Check two. Do you think both can be done and coexist? The kind of that team concept and the tour, and do you hope that that's the case because of the growing the game element?
Look, can it happen? Yeah, anything can happen, right? But you have to think back at like what the PGA Tour has always been and what this sport is, right? It is an individual sport, and to change that and to think about all that at 24, knowing that like I'm in the midst of like changing up what professional golf is, it's crazy, right? So stepping out of those lines, stepping out of those comfort zones of what I've dreamt about doing my entire life is kind of weird to think about. And to be in this position, at so young, so early on in my career, it's been great, right? But these are decisions that a lot of guys are making. You see some guys, you're hearing some guys, that might be a little older, might be a little later into their careers, want to do this versus the other. Slowly guys are taking their position, and right now, look, all I can focus on is trying to win every golf tournament I tee it up at. And whether team concepts could be for the future, absolutely. I mean, look, the Ryder Cup is the most fun I've ever had on the golf course. And anytime you're able to play at a team event, even like a Zurich, when you're playing as a team, It's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Have you been contacted by those guys at all?
You know, look, there's been talks. A lot of it goes through my agent, and you know, I want to know as much information as possible, and you don't want to be left out, obviously, if things go one way versus the other. But like I said, like I'm here to play out on tour, and that's my focus right now. I've had a great 21, and I'm looking forward to the next year of what's to come. And you know, for me, it's just to enjoy where I'm at right now, and that's right here on the PGA Tour. That's playing out here in the Bahamas, and looking forward to Maui. I mean, how could you not look forward to Hawaii to start the year?
Collin, I hope this isn't a tired question, but if you go back to the day you picked up your diploma from Cal 2.5 years ago, and here you are now with a double major, with a European #1 and everything you've done, would you have been, do you think, mildly surprised, wildly surprised, something in between? Some better answer than I have?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it surprised. I set a lot of lofty goals, and you know, they're reasonable goals. They're not unreasonable, but I set a lot of high goals, and that's just the standard I live up to. It always has been, and I just keep pushing myself. So I wouldn't say, you know, it's a surprise. I'd say the Olympics was actually a little bit of a surprise. I told one of my friends who's on the water polo team that the Olympics was probably not in question, bearing COVID and everything. I mean, I would have had to win every tournament I stepped out of. But
I'm sorry, if the Olympics were in 20?
Yeah, if the Olympics were in 20, I mean, the odds of me making that team were very low. So that's one surprise. But everything else, look, the reason why I stayed 4 years, the reason why I got my degree was because I felt like I needed just a little extra time to get ready. And by the time I turned pro, I wanted to come out here and win. Like, I didn't want to slowly get to meet everyone and slowly realize that this is just golf at the end of the day.
So you didn't get your degree in case this golf thing didn't work out?
You know, that's what I tell people. But it was never like an actual belief, right? People come up to you and say, yeah, it's good. I use it as a place of this is my business, right? We run our brand. We run our own individual business of being a professional golfer, that I need to understand, and I like to understand what's going on behind the scenes, not just having our agents there and certain things. So it's just who I am.
And then lastly for me is, as you push yourself and set and raise the bar, how often do you kind of reset some of these goals? Do you do it middle of season? Do you do it at the end of each year, or what?
I've learned after, you know, a good finish or a good week, it's time to reassess, especially after when you have to set new goals. Like I've talked about it after the PGA, I didn't do that, and I kind of went on a little downfall. But for me, it's just to, you know, when you're doing something good, you want to remember it, but you also have to remember, you know, the bad times, and you just gotta, you're always thinking, right? We're always on the spot of trying to figure out what we're doing great, what we're doing not well, and that's what's great.
Collin, you talked about growing the game. You spoke about a few countries. How do you see yourself as a global player, and do you think you will have a chance to play in different parts of the world, like, say, maybe Tiger did or Rory did?
Yeah, no, I absolutely hope I have the chance. Look, I love to travel, and that's a very good perk of being a professional golfer. And I want to see the world, because, you know, the impact at 24 that I might have is crazy. And if I can just impact one kid, it puts a smile on my face. So I really hope I'm able to travel around the world and see new places and just, you know, help out as much as I can, because it's fun. You know, being able to travel to Europe, Dubai, and all these places that I've played at such a young age so far, it's awesome. It's amazing to see the world, and I hope I continue to do that.
In the last 10 minutes, you've told us that you're 24 about 10 times.
I told you what?
Yeah, 10 times. You kept talking about 24.
Oh, yeah.
Great, absolutely.
I'm almost 25.
When you were 19 or 20, did you think what you would achieve by the time you were 24? Did you ever kind of think of a kind of a continuation of what Doug asked?
Look, I've always dreamt about playing on the tour and playing and being a professional, but it's just about setting goals, right? Like, I think if I had set the bar of saying at 20 years old I wanted to win 2 majors by the time I finished my career, I'd be, you know, complacent, right? I'd just be okay with myself, but I'm not, right? I just want to keep winning. I want to keep beating these guys out here, and we're just competitive. That's just who I am.
It's awesome.
Collin, you played with Brian Lara. Did you learn anything about a new game called cricket?
I'll be honest, I didn't realize who he was until about 5 holes in. But what an amazing guy. I didn't give him a tip until 18, and he was a little mad since he was aiming about 50 yards right every hole. But no, look, like you could see the competitive spirit, like competitive juices in him. You could see that he's an athlete, and I will definitely be on the internet looking him up later today.
Knowing how much of an impact Tiger's had on you, what were your thoughts yesterday, the last couple of days, when he was really honest in saying that I'm probably not going to be able to play on the PGA Tour full time anymore?
Look, whether he plays out on tour full time or not, he's still Tiger, and he brings so much energy in life. You could see what everyone feels like and how much love and joy they have when you're able just to see him in person, talk to everyone, talk to the media, but just be out here, be a presence, because he has that kind of ability to change people's lives, and that's what only a few athletes and people around the world have, that ability. And just to know that he's doing well, he's doing great, it's a positive. But trust me, if he's out here, I'm trying to beat him. That's for sure. Thank you.